Welcome to another episode of Uprise Stories. In this episode, we talk to global HR business partner at DHL, Laura, about how she's using her skills as a corporate HR superstar to create her own career consulting company, helping people find their passion and careers they love, all while supporting equal opportunities, diversity, and inclusion in the workforce. So, without further ado, here's Laura.
Laura, welcome to our Uprise Stories series, where we are talking to our amazing alumni who are now creating remarkable lives and careers for themselves to find out how they are doing it from the ground up. So, Laura, welcome. We're also here with Kyle as well from the Uprise Academy team. Laura, do you want to start by just introducing yourself a little bit and about kind of the journey you've been on and what made you make the decision to go through this sort of big life career changing process?
Yeah, sure. So Katie and Kyle, hi. So, first of all, thank you for the invite. And this is amazing. And for me to participate in the Uprise Academy was just like an amazing journey. Also, like these 3 months we just finished. So I'm Laura, I'm Colombian, and I'm based in Germany. I'm working in Germany since almost 5 years ago. And now, I have decided to quit now my job in DHL and to move back to Colombia to start my own company, my own startup. Also kick off or triggered by the whole process that I have been through to the Uprise Academy. So that's where I am now, basically, in that phase of changing. Amazing. Like that careers and like that world of like stable private or like stable corporate job in a way to kind of more like exciting, or I don't know, like new full of adventures entrepreneurship life. So yeah.
Awesome. And you were kind of saying, I guess you were saying before the show that, you're getting some strange looks from people who are thinking, why on earth would you want to, leave Germany and your very successful, stable job to go, back to Colombia and start your own thing? What made you, what was the kind of point where you were doing, climbing up the ladder in your job and doing very well? What was it that made you think, this isn't really for me and I actually want to explore other options?
Yeah, so I think, I was mentioned to Kyle and to Katie a little bit before that it was strange because in Germany, also coming from Colombia and behind not so much of a stable or so many job opportunities, to be here in Germany and to know you have like a unlimited contract and how there is stability in your life is somehow not so easy in a way to quit or to say, okay, I just want to try something different and live maybe that dream that for many people could be like a dream to have here. And also now during the pandemic, so as you were rightly mentioning, I got some weird looks when I was telling people that I wanted to start my own thing and just leave this stability here. And I think my journey, has been like, I was studying also here in Germany like for 2 years and a half, and then I started in DHL, like this logistics company. And I have been very successful in my role and like keep growing and growing in the past 3-4 years and getting more and more responsibility and getting more interesting topics. But in a way, I always felt I don't know, in the bottom of my heart that there was something more. I wanted to do something more. And I had always that feeling that I wanted to do something more impactful to society in a way. And I think like the corporate life, even though it has like its amazing stuff also coming with it, like you have this growth, these development opportunities, at the end, to me, everything was about like EBIT or profit at the end, So everything you do, all the actions you take, everything is just like to have a little bit more profit the year after. And that didn't resonate with me so much, and I knew I wanted to do at some point something different. So I think the triggering point was like 2 years ago. I started like a master's in international relations next to my job, and I started exploring a lot of these kind of social issues or this political, I don't know, inequality or disparity in the world. And I was like, I don't know, there has to be something more that we could do about it, just like besides, I don't know, donating in a website from time to time, or just like, going on holidays and kind of seeing it from far away and understanding what's going on. I think there was way more things that we could do about it and to get involved. And I started to give it a lot of thought, and also combined with my human resources experience that I have like almost 5 years. I was like, what if I don't know, what if there was like a way for people to be more satisfied, to be more I don't know, enjoying their jobs, for example, and enjoying what they do, and then at the same time creating a further impact into the society. Because also, in my case, I have seen it from first hand that there are people who are just in their jobs because they are like, that's the last option, or like, I don't know, the only option they have in a way, or they're just like super comfy in their jobs. And then you get this type of people who are just like from there to 9 till 5 and just getting to want a paycheck, and that's it. And then I have also seen the other side of people who are super passionate of what they do, of what they are doing in their day-to-day lives, and how these people create this impact around them is amazing. I mean, it's incredible. And I said, okay, what can we do to change that? You know, to kind of help people to find their path, to find their way, and yeah, and that's why, giving it a lot of thought, I knew there was something more, and I think Uprise Academy gave me that, these tools in a way that push through the community we built, through the coaching sessions I had with the amazing guys. I mean, with Kyle, with Steven, and I don't know, it's like all these ideas you have somehow in your mind that you take at some point. Okay, this is the time. This is the time to do something about it. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose another question was, how do you think potentially, you know, I think I'm South African originally, and obviously growing up in a developing nation with loads of sort of teething problems, you know, a young democracy in the same way that Colombia is an old democracy, but also, you know, relatively revolutionized post Escobar. But I think the interesting thing is looking at, you know, when you then come into a developed world context like Germany, and you see, okay, you know, everything's kind of working really well, you know, don't you want to sort of go back home? And I think that's the thing, you started wanting to inject purpose and empower the people that supported you when you were a kid, right? And to sort of pay it forward. And what I loved about your project was you know, you sort of discussed this idea of a personal mission at the beginning of it, and yours had something to do with magic. Can you remind me what that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that personal purpose I kind of find out through the process of Uprise Academy, you know, through the experiences and work experiences and life experiences I had so far. Is like I really enjoy that part of unlocking this like people magic, like kind of help them find their purpose and help them find what they feel passionate about doing, through unlocking that, through help them unlock that magic inside themselves. So that was, I realized through the process, that was like the purpose I wanted to follow and to get like my life aligned with.
And how was the moment when you sort of were sitting on that sort of level of indecision, if you will, as to whether you should continue in the comfortable track that is corporate, or whether you wanted to dive into the cold water of the unknown? You know, you knew it was exciting, you want to dive into it. What was it that gave you courage at that moment to dive in? Yeah, why did you decide to do that?
You know what, I was having like this discussion with my, because I really gave it a thought. I mean, if someone would say, okay, I just took the decision in one day, I don't know if they will be lying, to be honest, because it's like, if you have all these good options, you really need to give it some thought and really explore all your, like put it in a balance, you know, like, okay, what is really like, and I remember talking to my brother and saying to him, I don't know, I think I feel I want to do this, but I'm scared because I don't know, now with the pandemic, now because I'm anyhow, of course, now economically independent, and I have like this position inside the company. Should I really throw this away and just try, I don't know, like give this leap of faith without really knowing what's going on? And I remember he told me like, because he was like, what is the best thing could happen to you? I mean, not the worst thing, but the best thing that could happen to you. And then is that like your business kick off, and then you're like, you have an amazing business, you can travel all over the world, because then you can have your sessions from wherever you want to be sitting, and that you will be doing every day something you're passionate about. So I mean, the worst thing could happen is like you, after 6 months or a year, go back to find a corporate job, and that's it. So you don't have anything to risk. And then I never really thought it from that perspective. And then when I had this conversation with my brother, it was like, yeah, you know what, I mean, why not, basically. So I think that was that moment when I said, okay, yeah, I mean, this is the time to give it a try. And
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's funny, like I think yeah, for so many people I think it's just that like fear of the unknown, but actually if you can kind of rationalize it and think, okay, actually what is the worst that can happen, not that you want to kind of focus on negative stuff. But if you think about actually what is the worst that can happen and realize that actually it's not that bad, it does help to kind of put things in perspective, I think.
Exactly. And I think also to have maybe like a support circle around you was super important. Also, at least in my case, because when I was talking, because I'm very close to my family, there's like this Latino thing that you're like always sharing maybe this type of stuff with your family. And I remember we were in the dining table and I told them, Akin, this is maybe something I want to do. What do you think? Because also from my parents' perspective, I was thinking, I don't know if they just want me to resign and all the effort they also have put in my education and all the stuff, so you put all these things also in your head. And I remember my mom telling me, I mean, no worries at all. I mean, you can always come back home, even if if you need to save some money for your startup or to start like putting some money somewhere else, so that's okay. And you have, we fully back you up. So no worries that the three of us are there. And I think that's also, in a way, something that could also help you to give that jump and to say, okay, I will take the decision. It's really nothing much to lose, to be honest.
Yeah. And then once, I suppose now where you are in the space that you're in, for me, having come from a similar sort of background in the fact that, sort of high performing background, the thing that actually got me to the uncomfortable part of comfort was I started feeling a little bit numb. I don't know if you sort of felt that within, I was like, yeah, I'm highly effective in what I'm doing. I'm earning really well. I have the status and whatever that I, thought I wanted, but I'm not actually contributing or creating a track record of, helping people achieve what they'd like to achieve with their lives. And for me, the discomfort in my comfort zone was this kind of personal numbness. What do you think was the discomfort within your comfort zone?
Yeah, I think to me it was a little bit that I didn't feel, because of course I'm working in human resources. So in a way you're already, you're impacting people in a certain way. But to me, that impact that I was having was too impersonal in a way, or just, I don't know, or not really what I wanted in terms of impacting people. So I was like, yeah, and to have that kind of lifestyle that, okay, you work a lot and then it's like you have your holidays and then you work a lot again, and then I don't know, it was a little bit like there has to be more than this, and not keep growing in your career in terms of like, I don't know, you keep getting promotions or salary increases, you become a VP at some point or something like that, and then it's like, I don't know, but what else? What else there is there to do? So I think to me that was a little bit that discussion. But it's funny that you said it, because I have many other friends who never ask themselves these questions, and they are like super happy with their corporate life, or I don't know, apparently happy. I don't know if they are not, or they are not, or they are. But to me, I was sometimes also thinking, I wish maybe I would be like that, just like not asking myself all these questions, because sometimes you get a little bit like, like, is something wrong with me that I'm like trying to find something else, something more. But now that I found really this with the startup I'm starting, and that I really cannot stop thinking about it, it's just amazing. I never felt for something like job related anything like this, everything that I read, everything that I look for on internet is like, is all these ideas coming together. I'm like, what if we do this, what if we do that, like this excitement and super passionate about something. So I know now that it was worth it somehow, all that in comfort all the time, or like discomfort, sorry, like to have that kind of feeling of is something more, and to keep asking yourselves these questions, because I think many people will also just kind of settle and say, okay, yeah, I have this job, they're paying good, I can try from time to time, and that's okay, and that's fine. But I knew in my heart that that was not what I wanted for me.
They say one of the two most addictive things on the planet are carbohydrates and a good salary, right? So yeah, but I think, once you sort of are in the phase that you're in now, we were speaking to one of the same alumni from your particular cohort, which was Hassan, Full of Life. And we were talking a little bit about this idea of, emptying the cup. So, as you've obviously been busy, you are sort of wrapping up the final stages of working where you had previously worked. But now you're probably starting to find that as you're starting to have conversations with people more and more and more, you're actually starting to sort of unpack the opportunity even more, right? And you're like, I didn't even know this opportunity was as big as I thought it was. was. I didn't know this industry was as big as I thought it was. I didn't know that I was as driven and excited about what it is I'm doing. How has, since you've sort of committed, because for a lot of people there's this uncertainty, right? And they're afraid to commit. How have, since you sort of committed to this, do you find a little bit more clarity and a little bit more confidence and sort of confirmation that what you're doing is impactful?
I think like to start talking to people and to kind of just informally sharing the idea with people and to get super good feedback. I mean, at the beginning, of course, from your friends, you will get super good feedback because no friends will tell you, okay, this is just a horrible idea.
Yeah.
And then you could get like some biased feedback from people. But then after a point, I started to share it also with more external people to kind of pitch the idea to get like alliances or like potential things to work together with us. Every time I talk to each person, they always ask us for a follow-up meeting. You know, they were like, okay, let's do that, or let's do this, or like with concrete action points. And I was thinking, okay, this has to be good in a way if people are like asking you, because if not, I think they will be just like, okay, thank you, and yeah, good luck with your life or something. But they were like super open to kind of come back and do things. So I think all these small things of getting like this kind of support or like knowing that there is really like a need for what we're creating, it gives me also that courage to say, okay, I will just give it a try. I mean, I will just give it a try. And I think there is a need, is something I'm passionate about. So, I mean, why not, basically, in a way.
Tell us what is the opportunity that you are tackling? What is the space that you are pouring your energy into?
Yeah, so basically my company that is called Make It Happen is focusing on two things. So one is like for career coaching for young professionals, because I think from my own experience, I saw many of my friends super lost, like with 25, from 25 to 35 years, that they were like, okay, I studied this for super long. I'm not even sure if this is what I'm passionate about. I'm not even sure what I am passionate about, or like I never really asked or answered myself all these questions. So one part is that combining like that passion I have on career coaching and that experience I have also on HR. And the other part is for schools, for public schools, that I think is where we're making it in the bigger impact, because what we want to do in Colombia is to work with public schools in the 10th and 11th grades that are the last school years in Colombia, to kind of go with them through that process of choosing careers and life projects in a more thorough and kind of conscious way, not like that you just like, okay, because I'm good in Spanish or in math, then I should go do communications or do, I don't know, engineer or something. But you kind of start asking yourself all these questions and to have like more empowerment, and you know and understand which are your options. And we want to do it like with the kind of poorest sectors in a way first in Colombia, because there are some schools already in the high level that are doing something similar. And I also think that was the gap in Colombia is coming from, because if you provide these opportunities only to high-end schools or staff, of course, then what happened with the rest of the people who just leave school and then they are not aware of what else is available in the world, you know? So you just keep maybe following whatever pattern was already in your life, and you don't explore anything else. So it's difficult to run that, to cut that circle in a way. So yeah, that's what we're doing, because we believe if you are not happy and passionate about what you do, you will never become a change agent and create that impact in your society and in your own life.
Yeah.
Amazing. It sounds it sounds really exciting. I think, I mean, even like there are so many times when I think back to career advice that I got when I was at school, and I'm just like, why on earth, like what was even the point of that? Because like you're right, like no one tells you like, oh, you're good at science, so go and be a doctor. Like that's basically it. So it sounds like you're up to some really exciting stuff. What are you finding are the most kind of challenging things about, you know, going after your own idea and following your own path?
I think to me, the good thing is also I started like with a team, with a small team. So I think I included from the beginning two other friends who are psychologists, and I think that helped me a lot also in the days that, I mean, of course, if you have your normal job, there are days that you are a little bit more, I don't know, demotivated, or like you're like, man, I don't feel like doing so much today, but that's okay because you have your job and then you will get paid anyhow, you know, that's fine. But if you're like trying to start something, it's good to have like that push or that team feeling, peer group kind of to motivate each other. So I think that has helped me out. And I think sometimes just because I'm used to this past, I don't know, 7, 8 years I have been working to have this always a stability or always a job or always like something to rely on. It has been a little bit like also mentally tricky some days that I'm like, I'm actually like going to be, I don't know, waking up and like, okay, what I'm going to, it's weird, like to have that kind of more independent feeling of okay, what is my stability going to look like or something like that. But I think in terms of the business as such, so far we haven't really faced so many challenges because we're also just in the starting phase, but it's more like the team building or that kind of mindset that I'm still trying to put in myself as an entrepreneur, or like to be more on that side.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like getting there. We were talking a little bit about this earlier. It's that kind of training yourself to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and like getting used to almost, enjoying that feeling of the unknown and everything like that. But I guess, and it's a double-edged thing as well, though. It's kind of, it's scary, but it also must be super exciting as well.
Exactly. I mean, when I think of all the possibilities, also I also get super excited because it's like, okay, it's uncertainty, but also it's like coming together with so many cool stuff that also makes me think like, okay, whatever, it's not that bad that I have uncertainty, So yeah, I think it's just when you have to balance your good days and your bad days, or like, yeah.
Definitely. And how do you, I mean, is there anything that you do or any advice that you can give for like when, I don't know, if you are having one of those days when you're like, what on earth am I doing? Like, what have I signed up for? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Yeah, what do you kind of do to mentally like pick yourself up on those days?
I try to go back to that purpose, to that kind of knowing what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, sorry. So to kind of be super clear on what is the purpose and what do I want to achieve, to kind of keep that goal long term in mind, to understand what do I have to do in small steps today or tomorrow to make it happen and to get there. So that helped me out sometimes. But also, I mean, to be honest, I also give myself some time if that day I really don't feel like doing anything. I also just allow myself to feel these things, and then I know the next day it's going to be a better day. So I'm also trying to kind of learn that of how to listen to myself much better, and it's okay. And I'm like, okay, if it's really today I'm not super productive, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, and tomorrow will be much better. So
yeah, how when you started sort of I think talking about teams is quite interesting, particularly at these early stages of companies. How did you sort of find the right complements to who you were and who you wanted to work with? Was it an organic process? Was it the fact you went out and said, hey, this is what I'm working on? Yeah, how did you find the people you wanted to collaborate with?
no, I mean, to me was I really targeted them. I knew I wanted to work with the two of them. So I knew in terms of like values or causes we care about, or like kind of that type of same mindset, we were like very aligned. And because I know them from my personal network, so I knew in a way that I wanted to work with them as a team. Because I mean, to me, most important, and of course, having the skills, would like to have a team I enjoy working with, because I was like, okay, if we have to be meeting from time to time or to staff, I want to also enjoy that part of working with them. And on top, it was like the set of skills that I didn't have, because I have like international business background and more like corporate experience, and they are more like on the psychological side and in medical psychology. That's a thing, yeah, the medical psychology thing. So they were like the ones creating more the content or putting together more of the other things, and I'm focusing more like on and the whole company, or like putting the business development and creating these alliances around the strategic part. So I think we were like doing like a good match. But I targeted them because I thought they were like somehow fitting with the vision I had from the company. So when I talked to them, I told them, I mean, the most important for me is like you have the same passion for this cause and for this thing as I have. And that's the only thing that matters to me. And yeah, and they were super on board. They were super happy. So yeah, that was somehow how it worked.
In relation as well to a lot of the time, so many people just sit on an idea. They come across an idea, they think, oh, I really want to do this. They might have stumbled across an opportunity. And I think sometimes, you know, the market size is big, and the pain that's experienced by that market can be quite deep, and that's a signal that your market is really one that's worth sort of exploring and actually serving. How, as you obviously were navigating the messiness of this, how did you figure out what is my first step? How do I go about make it happen? How do you make it happen? You know, and yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
So I think that lean startup model you guys teach us was super useful to me, because it was like, okay, just go back, try it, and go back and iterate and get feedback and do it again. And I actually started doing that from the very beginning. So for example, with the career coaching sessions, I just told like my friends, like, okay, who is interested? I'm trying to do this. Who's interested for like free sessions? I just need to try out how's the format, if it's really working, some exercises. And I started doing it like that with them, and that was kind of a first step. Like, first it was because I got super good feedback from them. They were also like, hey, do you want us to recommend you to someone? These are the ones I have as testimonies, for example, in the web page. And like that, it helped me to kind of start like putting together the sessions and everything. But to me, I think how to make it happen is really kind of how an action plan where you say, okay, I want to achieve something at least per week or something, that you have very concrete actions, and okay, I need to talk to this person, or I need to create the website, or I need to put the Instagram. Because sometimes if you keep on that planning phase too long, it will be very difficult to really see things through. So it's better if you just go out, try with people. Then even if it has mistakes or it has things to improve, and they don't know. I mean, they don't know what is the final version you have, you know. So they will never know if you have mistakes or not. And then it's only for your own information to keep improving the process. So to me, that will be somehow the key to have this kind of plan or like timelines in your mind and with the team.
Yeah. And when was the first moment when you sort of were like, oh my goodness, this is actually happening? You know, like, you know, whether it was it the logo? Was it you having a website up? Was it you getting a first paying customer? What was that moment where you're like, huh, I've made a company, it's happening?
I think it was the website. I think it was the website that I actually felt, okay, this is really happening. And we put our pictures there, and I was sharing it with some friends to get also feedback, and everyone was like, oh my God, this idea is amazing. So I think it was the website. And also when I got my first 2 customers, I mean, who actually paid for the sessions, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. I mean, I'm not even like ready with the whole things, and I'm just like trying to kind of experiment or put things together and stuff. And when I asked them for feedback, because afterwards I sent them an email like with this MPA score, like to check it out how it was, and they told me, I mean, it was amazing, and we will recommend it to another person like 9.5% of the times, you know. So I was super excited, and they are not my friends. These people that I got in the sessions are just like random people who got referred to me. So that's why to listen to that feedback from also people completely outside of your people who love you circle in a way was super valuable. And I think that was the moment that I felt, okay, I have something here that could work out. And yeah.
Amazing. It's funny how isn't Squarespace's marketing is all like a website makes it real, right? And like that is so true.
It's super true, yeah.
As soon, I think it's that kind of feeling of like, oh, it's actually on the internet for other people to see. That it's funny how just like having a website is like, oh, it's a real thing now.
Yeah, exactly.
But that sounds incredibly exciting. Amazing news on first paying customers as well, because that's like, I feel like that's a big milestone.
I know, yeah. I was like, wow, maybe at some point I could actually live from this, you know. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So just to finish up, what advice can you give to someone who is maybe in your shoes a few months ago and is thinking about, thinking there's got to be more to life than this career that I sit here 9 to 5 plugging my numbers in and then going home? What would be sort of one key takeaway that you could give them?
I mean, the most important thing is maybe to don't settle for something that if you know in your heart it has to be something more, don't settle, because the whole society, the whole, like, everything will tell you like it's okay, it's enough. I mean, you should be grateful, you should be happy, you should be I mean, this is enough. You don't need anything else. And in some cases, may be true. But if you have really that feeling inside your heart, because not everyone also has it. Some people are just like, okay, I'm just happy with what I have. Don't settle for anything you don't feel is like what you really want to keep doing. But also, don't think that things that are just gonna come from heaven and like to your door. You know. So it also requires some mental strength to kind of go through the process to asking yourselves these tough questions, because sometimes we don't even know what we want or what makes us happy or all these things. So I think to start that self-discovery process is I mean, it's a super nice journey, but of course has its ups and downs, and be ready to commit and to kind of make a little bit of compromise and to invest time and to just take it to actions, to concrete actions, because that's the only way you will be able to see at the end a result like closer to the life you want for you. So
Yeah, Rumi, the Turkish or these Ottoman philosopher, sort of speaks about this idea of, by letting go of who I am, I become who I might be. I think that's what's so beautiful about transitions. These periods of, but what happens if I fail? It's like, of course you're going to fail multiple times, but you're going to succeed in the end, because practice makes progress. So it's just, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. You've done such a fantastic job at that. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, well, good luck for everything that's coming your way. I can't wait to see what happens. So please keep us updated.
I will. No, thank you guys for everything, really. I mean, Uprise Academy is doing an amazing job, and it was an amazing journey for me also.
And if we're wanting to follow your progress, how do we find you? Where do we find you?
So we have like the Instagram, there is Make It Happen Consulting. In Instagram, you can follow us like that. And we have our website that is also www.makeithappenconsulting.com if you want to check it out.
Perfect.
Yeah?
I'll put them in the show notes for everyone to find.
Super cool. Okay. Hi, Katie. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Laura.
Ciao. Bye.
Ciao.